All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a very familiar location for those of you that may have been around the channel for a while. Today we are working on the Mark 1 TT in the garage for the first time ever, and today we are getting right to the performance mods as it's almost time to hit the racetrack. But today we are going to be upgrading our wrecker intake manifold to something a little bit spicier. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be installing the SPA Turbo 1.8T intake manifold, and I've already kind of gone ahead and put a couple of the fittings on here because that's boring and you guys probably don't want to see that. But we're going to go ahead and throw this in the 1.8 and see what differences it makes. The fun thing I already noticed about this though is the fact that my map sensor, do you see my problem of where that needs to go? So do I need to extend that? Yes. Well, it is just 2 wires. I could just cut it and extend it, which isn't a big deal. It's also really funny because I don't have any way to bolt the fuel rail to this guy. So it does here, but on there I don't.
Yeah, so what, the only thing keeping your injectors in is the fuel rail being bolted down.
Well, that's good.
What's this guy right here?
That would be for the upgraded fuel rail, which is also not plug and play because it is 8 AN. Maybe I shouldn't do this and I should message my... So this doesn't fucking work. Okay, so fast forward a day or two. Funny enough, the SPA Turbo manifold can't be used with the factory fuel rail because the hold down points are completely different than the ones on the new manifold, because these ones are vertical to the manifold and the one on the factory fuel rail is horizontal or diagonal, so you wouldn't be able to mount the fuel injectors properly. So I've had to go and basically build an entire fuel setup because the factory fueling system also isn't going to work because the fuel rail that comes with the manifold is 8 AN or 10 AN, I can't remember. One of the two, and you can't get anything to adapt to the tiny little fuel lines that are on the factory system. So we've now had to go and spend $500 on fueling components, including a fuel pressure regulator, because we can't use the factory one at all. So there's your $200 fuel pressure regulator right there, and some other stuff. So I guess my precursor to this video is that if you were planning on doing a intake manifold upgrade from SPA, be prepared to buy all of that stuff, because that's the only reason I actually ended up buying one myself, was because it was significantly cheaper than going integrated engineering or anything like that. And if I do recall correctly, integrated engineering's manifold you can use with the factory stuff. So not off to a great start, because the entire idea of this was to be easy. I'm gonna start by taking all of the fuel injector connectors off and the harness, because that's relatively easy. And we've got some other obvious, not so obvious lines that need to come out of here if we can get to them. So you got one knock sensor that should be a part of that harness underneath the manifold that needs to come off. We're gonna undo all of our vacuum lines. Mine are all obviously aftermarket, as you can see. Get those all out of the way. And we'll get our fuel rail undone. I think we should be able to just undo all of our injectors. Yep. Without having to drain everything everywhere right away. So I'm just gonna put those out of the way. Pull our manifold off. Undo our map sensor. I'm gonna have to take our charge piping off. And then we have the larger of the Allen bolts underneath that holds the bracket to the intake manifold that needs to come off, and I believe that should be a 6 Allen. And this just kind of supports the weight of the intake manifold, which I don't think that one has. I'm hoping it does, because it's probably going to be heavier. And our throttle body sensor, or our throttle body connector. And now we have to find somewhere that our EGT sensor is going to go, which is this guy that's on here, and hopefully you guys can see. So one thing that's interesting about the BEA is I guess it's a small port head. This manifold is a big port head, but it's a 225 engine, so I don't know. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna swap everything from the factory manifold that we need to the new manifold, which obviously number one, our throttle body. And I believe that's our air intake temperature sensor, not our Not our map. I said earlier it was our map, but I know it's not. It looks so silly with a tiny little throttle body on it. Intake air temperature sensor. I don't know what this is. I can't remember. I will write it down. There's the part number, 280130805. Swaps from being right next to the throttle body all the way over to the other side of the intake manifold, which isn't beneficial because now we're gonna have to extend the harness as well, if it even fits. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna transfer you guys over to a different location now. See what we can do about our intake air temperature, because it's gotta go way the fuck over there, which I don't know how we're gonna do that. We're probably gonna have to extend that now too, aren't we?
One day later.
So some slight modifications are required to the actual manifold because the injector holes are supposed to be 14 mil and they're about not that. So we're gonna do some very legitimate modifications here to 5/16, which is 14 mil for our injectors. And I know we need to go all the way through, so... Oh no, not 5/16, 9/16, because that's a very, very big drill bit. Do some measuring, make sure we haven't overdone ourselves. So we're about 12.8 at the bottom of the stroke. Okay, so after a bit of hand porting and testing, looks like we got our injectors to fit. So we're gonna put our, actually I'm gonna go clean the manifold off first. This guy on here, in there differently. Okay, so. Okay, we're gonna drain the original fuel lines now, just so we can start kind of routing the fuel lines and the pressure regulator and everything. I don't really know what side to take it off. I should probably take it off of the quick disconnect side, because we're gonna go ahead and put our new quick connects on here, and this is probably gonna get a little bit difficult because the fuel lines are kind of in the way of the coolant lines, so definitely a little bit more involved than the factory system, but these quick connects are pretty good. They're just very tall, so, but we'll grab our injectors, get our fuel injectors mounted in their homes. Okay, or mount our rail, not rails, plural. Who knows? Yep, I think those are seated. Get our bolts in here and started. And I would say those injectors are not gonna go anywhere. Okay, get our fuel line adapters set up, our inlet, and hopefully, oh shit, I'm thinking I might have needed to mount this prior. Shit. Oh my God, live and learn, right? So our regulator is on, we got some good clearance. Go ahead and hook up our reference line. All right, let's run some fuel lines, because this is gonna be the most difficult part, I feel. So we're gonna go. I am indeed, how the kids say, sweating like a MF. Now, do I wanna run the return line under the manifold or above the manifold? Probably above would be the smartest idea, I would. Under might look a lot cleaner though. Okay, it's staying on the top. That looks good enough for me. Let's tighten all of our stuff down. That's good. Fittings here. Make sure those are good and tight, because last thing we need is a ginormous fuel leak when we're testing this. Okay, so everything's on. Turn the key just to make sure we hit fuel pressure. Everything's hooked up. We're gonna back it out. Realize I don't even have my diverter valve hooked up. We're gonna get it to idle and adjust our fuel pressure, because this should be between 4 and 6 bar, and right now it's holding at, well, it was at 40 and it's been a while, so it's gone down, but in case it catches on fire, we'll get it out of the garage and start it and see how it idles and go from there. feeling the throttle body sensor's not connected. I feel like one of the fuel injectors isn't hooked up or something. All right, so we're back in the Mark 1 after a spectacularly long hiatus. It's been a couple months since I filmed installing the intake manifold in the TT. We're actually going out and we're gonna do a little bit of data logging because we have some performance related issues because we took the car drag racing about a month ago, and the car is very slow right now. I think it did like a 14.6 quarter mile or something with like a 97 mile an hour trap speed, where it should be around about 108. But anyways, I wanted to quickly show you guys or explain to you the issues that I had with the intake manifold, because as you can tell, the car's running, and like I said, we did take it drag racing and did a whole bunch of stuff. So I will show you now what we had to fix on the intake manifold, because there were a lot of issues with it mechanically, or I guess just from the casting or the manufacturing of the actual intake manifold. Here is the final product of the intake manifold installed, the SPA Turbo one. Like I said, stock throttle body. I do have aftermarket charge pipes and everything, and I did have to do the extension for the, I think this is the manifold temperature sensor or the intake air temperature sensor. I can't remember, it's one of the two. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'll correct myself here on what it actually is. The biggest issue that I had with this manifold setup is, you can probably see down in there. So this little area is where the intake fuel rail brackets bolt into. So these little like metal brackets that my buddy made me new ones for, and shout out to him for fixing this manifold for me. But where those mount in on the intake manifold, that whole area was basically, I wouldn't say fully open onto the interior of the intake manifold, but it was cracked. And the metal was also so thin in that area from the machining of the of those little flat bits, and I'll see if I can put a better photo on screen of what I'm talking about. It was machined so thin that you could see light through the metal in those areas. So I didn't know that when I originally installed the intake manifold, and that's where you see the clips of the car idling like crap, because there was a massive vacuum leak. And at first I thought it was like the meth bungs that they have up here, or like one of the ones down here on the intake manifold, but we like triple checked that, sprayed the shit out of the intake manifold, and we found that it was something up in this area causing the issue. So I thought the mating surface wasn't flat, or the intake manifold gasket was bad, or my injectors weren't sealing. And so we did like brand new injector seals, all that stuff, new intake manifold gasket, blah, 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 didn't fix our issue. And so then I took it to the machine shop at my full-time job. They looked at it and they were like, yeah, like there's all this crap with it, so you're gonna have to fix that before you can do anything. So that's where we were at. We got all that fixed, and now the car runs. Does it feel any faster? Not really. And it's really kind of hard to gauge. The original intake manifold on this car is designed for the small port head that is on the BEA, and this is designed for a large port head. And obviously being a BEA, this doesn't have that. So if I did go ahead and do a ported head and like a built motor and everything, which is kind of the plan at this point, this manifold will definitely benefit more, especially if I do a bigger turbo. But as of right now, on a stock engine, I probably wouldn't do this. But if you were big turbo and you wanted to save like $500 instead of going with some of the other companies that have like big turbo intake manifolds for these cars, this one, once it worked and I got everything set up, had no problems, other than the car not really feeling any faster. It does have cool guy points, and this will be kind of like for a future-proof thing. So there you go. And this is also, I guess, the reveal for my my intake manifold now matching my brakes and my harness bar that's in the car. And you guys actually seeing the race car engine bay all done for now. I also did get a Turbo Concepts diverter valve on the car. We did heat wrap some stuff. We heat wrapped the fuel lines as well, because we just weren't sure if this was eventually gonna like rub through, so I put that on there, and that is kind of like cool points, I guess. And then we're also gonna do a different intake setup because I'm sure having my intake in the engine bay just kind of loose like this is giving me some issues as far as like heat soak, but the battery's getting relocated as well. But yeah, there you go. Intake manifold installed. Looks cool. Does it really do anything? Not unless you're big turbo or have a ported head or anything like that. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the install and my headache of getting the SPA turbo intake manifold to work on my 1.8. If you're new here, do not forget to subscribe. There is going to be a lot more stuff for my 1.8T 225 Mark 1 race car, as we call it for now. That'll do it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. I'll see you in the next video.